Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody is not aware of this, it's a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the slides shared by Pete Sessions in the meeting on Saturday. We're also going to be looking at a review of the weekly watch list. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So the first headline here from Market Watch is the S&P 500 could surge 100 points this week on inflation data. So we are expecting news on inflation. I do think if that news is better than expected, we could see a significant bounce in the markets. And one of the things I want to look at is ticker symbol RIVN. And there was news in this, but a quick shout out again to our weekly watch list. This is something that we looked at and we added to our weekly watch list prior to trading today on the Discord exclusively to the members. So congratulations to everybody who got in on RIVN. There was an analyst upgrade, and I think today at time of editing it is up close to 3%. So in terms of the news, we're looking at here investors who clung onto RIVN stock over the last few months are now getting rewarded. The stock is on fire, up roughly 90% in the past 9 sessions. So great news there for RIVN in terms of the bounce back. I'm also going to be sharing some other stocks from the weekly watch list towards the end of the video, so stay tuned to have a look at them. Let's now move on to have a look at MMTLP. So before we look at the slides, quick shout out here to MMA2 News, who posted earlier today, Congressman Pete Sessions addresses MMTLP at Town Hall. The letters to Congress are working. So this was covered in the previous video, and we can see here in the image, Congressman Pete Sessions addresses MMTLP at Town Hall. So I believe this has also been covered in the news. So this is, we can see here featured on KWT News. Republican Pete Sessions holds town hall at VFW in Hewitt. So we can also see in the background MMTLP on one of the slides. And special thanks here to Crucial Mix for sharing the breaking news. And this breaking news was identified on mmtlpresources.com, who obtained the PowerPoint presentation from Pete Sessions Hewitt Town Hall. So we are going to look at the last 5 slides shortly, but if anybody hasn't been to mmtlpresources.com, you can get a huge amount of information there. So head on there and we can see on their webpage update, we have obtained the presentation from Pete Sessions Town Hall and it is available to download. So let's go ahead and have a look at these slides. So let's get straight into the slides, and these were presented in the Town Hall of Hewitt, Texas by Congressman Pete Sessions on July the 8th, 2023. So we started off here by looking at the MMTLP timeline, going back straight to the 11th of April 2019, when ticker symbol TRCH, Torchlight, announced they struck oil. So this was potentially one of the largest discoveries of oil in the United States, and this was also covered in one of my very early videos where I talked about this discovery of oil. And then he's gone on to say, from the timeline, TRCH and MMAT enter agreement for reverse merger. TRCH is the smaller entity. So MMAT Metamaterials was using the TRCH ticker to get onto the NASDAQ under MMAT. And then he's gone to say the reverse merger executed. MMAT is now publicly traded. It was actually publicly traded before, but on the Canadian exchange, it's now on the NASDAQ. Then on the 15th of July 2022, he's gone on to talk about the S1 registration, filed to spin off a Series A preferred share of MMTLP to NextBridge. So for clarification, that preferred share was not to be tradable. So the intention was for this not to be tradable. Everybody who received this was just going to get their entitlement to NextBridge and no trading on the OTC. So that was the intentions. However, we're not going through the audio recording, we're only going through the slides. 14th of November 2022, he's talked about short squeeze chatter becoming frequent, and one of the reasons why there was short squeeze chatter is because the rules, securities trading legislation required shorts to close, and everybody expected the law to be followed. Unfortunately, we didn't expect the U3 halt, and we also didn't expect the lack of an explanation for the U3 halt. 18th of November 2022, he's talked about the S1 file for NextBridge, effective and the finalised date. So that's that slide there. Now the next slide I'd like to present you is a slide that few people have talked about. Comments in terms of misinformation here. However, I'm not going to comment on that, because I think one thing you have to understand is anybody who's not been involved in the journey of MMTLP does not fully understand it. People are not going to know the intricacies of what happened. So I certainly am going to give Pete Sessions the benefit of the doubt, because I'm going to share with you a comment at the end explaining why. But first of all, let's have a look at this slide here. So 13th of November 2022, he stated here, MMTLP announces spin-off date 12th of the 12th 2022 for the Series A preferred shareholders of MMTLP to receive NextBridge as that 12th of the 12th 2022. However, I believe it was actually the 14th of the 12th, which was going to be the distribution date. And then the 6th of the 12th, he stated FINRA announces purchase of MMTLP made after the 8th of December will not receive shares of NextBridge. So that box is highlighted in yellow. So I've identified an arrow there showing a contradiction from FINRA themselves. I'm not sure if Pete Sessions was explaining this contradiction, because of the arrow to the left there states, as per FINRA's schedule, this becomes last day of MMTLP trading, stock drops to $2. So remember, it was not the schedule, it was a last minute change of heart by FINRA, because we had the corporate notice, we have the approval from the SEC. The dates were shared with FINRA months and months in advance, and the yellow box identified for Pete Sessions also suggests, as I'm sure he stated, purchases of FINRA announces purchases of MMTLP after the 8th of December. So if FINRA is saying purchase after the 8th of December, that is a clear indication by FINRA that there will be trading. So contradiction there. So that explains that. Obviously I think Pete may have put this into context. I'm certainly hoping he has done. The other arrow I've shared there, if FINRA halts trading of MMTLP T+2 system as the 9th of December was a Friday. So we do agree that there was a halt. We also agree the halt was unjustified. And the thing I've identified in the circle on the top right hand corner, which I think is positive, and that is Pete Sessions sent a letter to FINRA. This is on the 6th of December 2022, so make a note of that date. That is before the halt, regarding the corporate action, and receives a response the same day. Now, if anybody is aware of what was in this response or can share that, that would be interesting to know. I'm not sure I'm aware of what was in this letter that Pete Sessions received, but maybe Pete Sessions cannot share this right now. But if anybody's aware of that, I think that would certainly be very, very interesting to find out what was shared with Pete Sessions in this letter, because he received a response the same day, and this was on the 6th of December 2022. So what did FINRA say to Pete Sessions? And then in the box there it says 12th of the 12th, final day of trade settlement. 14th of the 12th, MMTLP delisted, cancelling all outstanding shares. And again, there's a lot more to this story. We've got naked shorting, we've got counterfeit shares, we've got people not receiving MMTLP placeholders, we've also got people with uncertainty, we've got people who were misinformed and so on. But we're not going to get into every one of those points. He also shared here the chart. MMTLP share price before the trading halt, yes, and you can see there it went from trading around about $1.20, $1.50 September 2022 all the way up very, very close to around about the $12 mark. So there was a significant upside there. Vast majority of MMTLP holders did not sell because they were expecting 2 more days of trading, and everybody had the right in those 2 days of trading to either hold or sell. but that choice was denied. However, we can see in the final part of the trading, it has come down significantly to $2.90 it was. And that was the end of the trading. So let's move on to his next slide. He's talked here about initiated December 2020, effective June 2021. He's talking about Torchlight, which was a public company. Meta Materials was a public company. Reverse merger to become MMTLP. And in the other slide is shared here, is talks about the initiated July the 15th, 2022, effective December the 14th, 2022, and that is MMTLP, previously public on the OTC. But there are people out there who are adamantly saying that NextBridge is a public company. I have said on many occasions it is a private company. Pete Sessions agrees it's a private company. He is correct to say it's a private company. Anybody out there who's saying NextBridge Hydrocarbons is a public company is spreading FUD. So again, confirmation here from Pete himself as well that it is a private company. And finally, I know a few people have got concerns with regard to these slides that they are not representing the full truth and not representing everything in there. So remember, it is a complicated story, but let's get an insight from a person who was there. So quick reminder for anybody who has any doubt, what Heidi has stated here, she was there, remember, she heard Pete Sessions speak, and she has said absolutely, completely, unequivocally on our side, in my opinion. So that's in response to a question in terms of the presentation. Was it slanted in favor of the hedge funds or on our side? So again, quick recap, quick reminder, presentation in Heidi's opinion, completely, absolutely, unequivocally on our side. So I am reassured by that. Quick review of this week's weekly watch list. These are stocks that we called prior to trading today, and we also looked at the beginning of the video ticker symbol RIVN. So in addition to calling out Rivian, we also called out ALPP, Alpine, based on a significant purchase order received. That news was also shared in the Discord. I believe Alpine was up today close to 38%. We called out PWM. I believe that was also up in excess of 47%, and that was based on the stock still soaring after the market debut. So congratulations to everybody got in PWM, Prestige Wealth. We called out FNGR, and if we have a look at there's a tweet here from Ham. We're also, with regard to FNGR, I did look at the recent insider buys and the bullish momentum. I believe that was up in excess of 16% today at time of editing. BDTX, we also called out, that was up in excess of 6.6%. GRRR, there was a huge contract signed, shared that, again, details of that also shared in the Discord, so congratulations to everybody got in GRRR. That's up approximately 30% today. CSTL, there was new data to be presented, again that's up approximately 2.6% today. NUZE, that was down approximately 8%, so some stocks do have a sell-off and not all calls are successful. BABA we called out as well. I do believe there's going to be significant upside into that as well due to the end of the China probe on BABA. I think that's trading around about level. NKLA, that's been doing exceptionally well. We saw a great success on that last week. We've added it again this week, and that right now today it was up in excess of 4.6% at time of editing. We also added NEO to our weekly watch list today, and I believe it could get closer to $11, and at time of editing also up approximately 6.9%. And finally, if you would like to get a copy of our daily stock alerts as well as our weekly watch list, details are in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.